Great. Well, welcome everyone to the Survey and Ballot Systems webinar, Applications Simplified, One Platform, Endless Possibilities. So we are excited to have you all here today to share some common challenges that our clients face when managing multiple applications and how they have found success with a digital software solution. So a couple housekeeping notes before we begin here. We are recording this webinar and we will send you all the recording afterward. And everyone, please feel free to throw any questions you may have in the chat. And we will have time at the end for some Q&A where we will answer as many questions as possible. But with that, I would like to introduce you to your hosts. I am Hannah. I am the marketing strategist here at Survey and Ballot Systems. And I am joined by Tony, our marketing director.
Hey, everybody. Happy to be here, Hannah.
Just a little bit about us. We are located in Minnesota. Our office is in Eden Prairie, so we're just about 20 minutes outside of Minneapolis. And we would love to know where our wonderful attendees are tuning in from today. So feel free to throw in the chat where you are joining us from. See, oh, Alaska. Nice. That's awesome. A variety of different places here. Great, guys. Well, thanks for being here. So just a quick run through of what we will cover today. We will start off with some common challenges that our many different organizations face when managing all of those different application types. And then from there, we will introduce a solution that brings clarity and organization to those processes. From there, we will explore how our platform really can make managing a variety of different applications easier, more efficient, and more secure as well. From candidate bios to RFPs and many other use cases, they are all supported by this platform. Then we will run through a demonstration of what the platform looks like from a candidate perspective. And before we end, we will introduce you all to our holiday donation nomination and finish it all off with some Q&A.
Perfect. Thank you, Hannah. And hello again, everybody. Excited to be here. As we were planning this webinar, we really wanted to put ourselves in many of your shoes. So a lot of our clients work in marketing, membership, legal, admin, etc., for the organizations that you work for. And we know that your day-to-day is very, very busy. It can be very stressful with just the normal things that you have to do for your organization. And many of you also then oversee application processes throughout the year. So whether it's the director nomination process, student scholarships, etc. And when those come around each year, things can feel a bit overwhelming. So each application might have a different set of questions, a different deadlines, different stakeholders that you're answering to for that process, be it your board, maybe there's committees, etc. And that can just feel overwhelming at times as you're just trying to do your normal day-to-day job as well. And without a software solution to help support that, things can feel a bit chaotic. And with each one of those processes, there can be a bit of uncertainty. And so what do I mean by that? Well, we eat, sleep, and breathe elections every single day. And many of my clients have a formal nomination process for their directors that require, petitions and things like that. And many of them will say, hey, petitions have been open for a while. We had a couple of members express interest, but we haven't heard from them for a few weeks. So we don't know if we're going to have an election. And then as Murphy's Law tends to go, at the 11th hour on the last day, you get that member who rushes into your lobby with a packet. And that creates a whole bunch of stress for a lot of folks who then need to turn an election. And so without the ability to see where candidates are in the process up until that point, can just create a lot of stress and also put not only stress on yourselves, but your partners to execute on an election. Many of you know that there are certain deadlines that you have to meet. So from petition cutoff to mailing a ballot, for example, might be a short window. And in the event that you're unprepared for an election, there could be things like added expenses in order to get those ballots printed, mailed, and out to your members on time. Now, I always like to tell my clients, let's prepare as if an election is going to take place. And then if one doesn't, we can all take a collective sigh of relief, but at least we're ready in the event that one does happen. Now, when it comes to RFPs, many of our partners have formal processes that require multiple bids from providers before they can make a purchasing decision. Now, if you're getting email submissions from different vendors in different formats, it can just be hard to really compare apples to apples, where a software solution can help standardize the submissions, the file formats that you're receiving, and help you and your team make a much better or more informed decision, because it's just simpler to compare one competitor to another. Now, Hannah, when I think about doing your day-to-day job on top of a couple other application processes that might pop up from time to time, how does a software solution really help bring some clarity to that process?
Good question, Tony. So yes, as you said, with tight timelines, you're juggling multiple projects, you have the fear of the unknown. We definitely understand how overwhelming it can be, and this is where our software comes in. So our solution will centralize all of those applications into one place, reducing the complexity and really bringing the calm to the chaos. So think of this solution as your digital filing cabinet. It securely stores all of your application data in one easily accessible place. And over time, the system will actually become a repository of all your potential candidates, potential vendors, students, all that can be tapped into for future elections, scholarships, vendor contracts, and more. Which brings me to our first point here, versatile. So the solution is not just for candidate bios and petition signatures. It is also for RFPs, scholarships, meeting registration and meeting questions, even meeting RSVP. All of it can be handled by our platform. Real-time data is also a great benefit of the platform. You will gain instant access to key information, allowing you to track the progress of your candidate submissions and even monitor where your application process is. So you can easily download reports and export applications instantly as well. And here at SBS, security is one of our top priorities, so we guarantee that all of our solutions are secure and reliable. So this application platform is backed by robust security measures, which will protect all of your sensitive application data, really ensuring compliance and trust in the process. So this platform will really help you streamline all of your application processes. So we know that different applications may have different requirements, may use separate softwares to collect those information, like Google Forms, website forms, PDFs, paper applications. Our platform will standardize the application types and streamline the process. So this image here shows the dashboard of our application software. So you can see that this one organization has multiple applications open with a number of different nominations for each app. So with this visibility, you will never have to guess if your student scholarships are complete. This will eliminate the guesswork of, will there be an election? Do we have enough submissions or grants, RFPs? With this, you will know where all of your candidates are in the nomination process or the application submission, and it will give you visibility into all of your applications in one place at all times. So with multiple processes often come multiple ways of doing things, which can lead to confusion. So our platform will standardize how applicants apply, ensuring consistency across the board. So your registration forms are standardized with required fields, making it easy to collect the right information right from the start and really eliminating that back and forth communication, making sure that nothing is missed. And in the case of nominations, the software will provide full transparency into where each candidate is in the process, from submitting their biography all the way to completing their petitions. So, for example, you can see here that Tony has not yet completed his director application. So what I can do here is actually really cool. I could just click on that email user. and I could actually send Tony an individual email as a reminder to complete his application. So this capability allows for easy, streamlined communication, and you will also have a clear record of potential candidates for future elections. And once your applications are complete, the system will actually generate an exportable file for each applicant, making it easy for your board to review and evaluate all of the submissions. And you will have a clear, organized view of each applicant's qualifications, as well as any supporting documents that they upload. You will have that all in one place. And then at the very end of the application process, you will also receive a final report from us, giving you an official record of the process. So different processes, can come, multiple ways of doing things can come with confusion, right? So our platform will standardize how applicants apply, ensuring that there's consistency across the board. So registration forms are standardized with required fields, making it easy to get the right information from the start. That will kind of reduce that back and forth communication. But we also have the personalized outreach for individual emails. So you are able to communicate with that one-on-one to address specific questions as needed. So here you can see that we have an example of the email that a candidate might receive in their inbox. So this one is reminding them of an upcoming deadline, but we also have the targeted messaging by application status or email scheduling options as well. So you are able to schedule emails in advance or send on the spot as needed. So scheduled email communication is a great way to easily send emails to all candidates or maybe even specific groups of candidates. So you may want to send one email to those that have submitted their application, or a separate email to those that have not submitted, and maybe even one to those that are still in progress. So one of the key benefits of this ability is automating your communication, right? So you can set up pre-written emails to communicate with your applicants. And it's a really great way to stay top of mind and provide status updates for next steps. Scheduled emails will save your team time, ensure timely communication, and really just give you a little bit of a way to be more personalized with your candidates. So with the scheduled emails, you would just send us the message and then we take care of the rest. So for example, we have some clients who send scheduled emails 14 days before, and then again 3 days before the deadline, and then they customize those messages by status. So you can send one customized email to those that have completed their application, thanking them for their submission, and then giving them the next steps. And then maybe a separate email to those that have not yet completed, reminding them of the deadline and their next steps.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. And yeah, I definitely would be one of those candidates that's falling behind. Sounds like my teachers could have used that in school back in my day, if you will. But one of the top questions we got during the registration process was folks wanted to see what digital petitions look like, or collecting electronic signatures for petitions. And in a moment, I'll walk you through the candidate experience, how they would create one. But a few things I want to point out here, and I'm going to use my nice little laser pointer here, is that once your candidates sign up to become a candidate, there's a little button that would allow them to create a personalized link that they can then share across any digital channel, so text message, email, website, etc., and share that link with their friends, family, and other members to support their candidacy. So if I'm receiving that petition link, this is what I would see. So logo would be the logo of your organization. We can customize the text that's here. We work with some folks that have very specific language that needs to be placed on a petition form. We can list that here, and then customize the fields that members need to input to sign. Signing is as easy as using your finger or a mouse. And as a candidate, I have that full visibility into the process. So if I push out that link to 20 of my friends, and I can see, oh, mom and dad signed, this is great. but I'm still lagging behind, I can continue to advocate for myself with other members and other friends of mine that I might have. As an administrator, you get that real-time look as well. It's through a slightly different view than this. However, I have a lot of clients who require 25, 50, 75 signatures or more. And prior to utilizing software, they were basically waiting until the very end when someone turned in that form, and then they'd have to go back and verify to make sure that each signature is from somebody who's still an eligible member. With this type of process, now what they're able to do is review those signatures in real time and throughout the process. So if they only need 15 signatures and during the review they found that 2 of them are no longer members, my clients have been proactive in reaching out to their candidates to encourage them to collect more signatures, just to ensure that they meet all the requirements for their submission. Now, another question that we got quite a bit in the registration was, how do scholarships work? Now, we work with a lot of organizations who offer multiple scholarships to students, whether it's high school seniors, whether it's post-secondary, whatever it might be. And building that into a process like this has a few benefits. So I want to kind of point out here, if I was a student logging in, and I know the text on the screen doesn't say a scholarship for each one of these, but imagine with me if you would. If I saw there was an agriculture one or arts and grant applications, whatever it might be, we would list that here with the unique open and closed dates. And I would just simply need to click start to begin my application. Then all of the questions that are asked are unique to that specific scholarship. So if, again, you are asking for specific requirements of different scholarships, that's all they would see within this particular application. Now, Hannah had mentioned earlier too, the ability for file uploads. A lot of scholarships require additional documents. Maybe it's a letter of recommendation, transcripts, photos, things like that. All that can easily be built into the application. And then as you're reviewing with your committee or your team, when you export it, it will bundle it all up for you by candidate. So you can see here's all of Hannah's answers, and here's her letter of recommendation and her photo. So very easy to manage and review submissions. As far as other applications, I often get asked if a software solution like this could be utilized for HR purposes, like hiring and things like that. And what I always tell folks is, while yes, you could have put out an application where you're collecting resumes and things like that, I highly encourage you to talk to your HR department to make sure that your hiring process would fit into a software solution. I know that there's a lot of software out there already for HR purposes that may be a better fit. In full transparency, ours was built for governance purposes. So if there are unique requirements for HR, again, I just recommend you talk to the pros at your organization for that. As far as ones that we've seen with great success, I would say a couple of them I want to draw attention to are meeting RSVPs and submitting questions. So a lot of our clients have annual meetings where they request people to register prior to, and you can build out the questions to ask for how many people are going to be attending, maybe what meal are you going to be having, and also submit questions ahead of time for a leadership to answer at the meeting. We've talked a bit about RFPs already, and grants is another one that follows a similar process to scholarship. A lot of the organizations that we work with offer grants. So like in the electric co-op space, for example, I know that we have some partners who offer grants for energy efficiency, appliances or solar panels and things like that. You could tailor those questions within this process to ask the questions that are needed in order for you to make an informed decision on awarding that. Same with other nonprofits. So grants for training, continuing education, conferences, things like that. We would work with you to build out the questions so that it's specific to your unique grant. So that all being said, I want to shift gears a little bit and dive into the user experience for creating a nomination. So prior to getting here, we would work with you to build up the site. And if I'm a candidate coming here for the first time, I just need to simply sign up. fill out a quick registration form. Once I do that, I'm going to get an email to confirm my account, just pretty standard for most account creations nowadays. And once I do that, I can come back here and log in. So again, this is the demo account. So there's a lot of applications in here. If your process is just director candidates or just scholarships, that's all that would be listed here as long as they were open. If I'm a returning candidate, right away I can see my status, where I am in the process for each one of my applications. And for the purposes of today's tutorial, I'll just cover this one, the director application. So I'm going to come in here and continue. All this text here can be customized to, a unique welcome message for your members. Same with all the questions. If you don't need home address or phone number, etc., those wouldn't be here. It would be tailored to your organization. But a couple of things to point out, just the variety of ways that you can ask questions. Simple text boxes, we can require them, as Hannah mentioned, to make sure that you're getting all the information needed in order to make that decision. We have some that require things like a candidate statement with a set amount of words that you're allowing candidates to put in here, whether it's 10 words, 15 words, etc. So as you can see, I'm a bit over in my word count. As a marketing person, I can be a bit wordy. So I'm going to clean that up here and continue moving on. File uploads, very simple, drag and drop, different types of files that are allowed, and also a browse feature. Petitions, I mentioned earlier that there's two ways to collect petitions. One of them is an upload. So if your organization requires physical signatures or a document that's signed by the members, we can easily link to the form. All the candidate would have to do is print this out, collect their signatures, and then simply upload it back into the system. Now on the digital side, we have the ability, like I mentioned, to create unique links for each candidate. And as you can see, I've collected one signature so far, so I probably have some work to do yet. If I want to see all my signatures, I just simply click here. I can print this out if need be, or view it as a web page. Once I've met all the requirements, so flip my red X's to green check marks, I just simply go to verify and submit. If I've met all the requirements, it'll prompt me that I've done so, and I just hit submit. Now, at any time during the process, I can come back in and edit and change and update my application up until the point that it closes. So as you see, when I signed in, I was at 50%, but because I completed that candidate statement, I'm now at 57%. So I'm chugging along on my application. That, in a nutshell, is how the candidates would utilize the software to complete any sort of application. So with that, I'll turn things back over to you, Hannah.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, I know I've seen that platform a number of times, but it's always impressive just to see really how easy it can be. But I know we've covered a lot here today, so I kind of just wanted to recap. Starting off with efficient, our platform is largely about efficiency. This is your one place to house all of your multiple applications and keeping your candidates engaged and informed with either individual or bulk emails. Our solution will also give you and your candidates peace of mind, knowing that the software is secure with SOC 2 Type 2 compliance and industry-leading security measures. And then the convenience of this software will help you simplify your reporting. So with real-time insights into progress and the ability to access the application at any time. And finally, this platform is adaptable, from awards and recognitions to digital petitions, candidate bios, whatever it may be. There truly are endless applications for this one platform. And with the flexibility of being able to customize the question types, the word counts, and more, you will gain a standardized process and exportable files that can be streamlined for your reporting. So next here, I am excited to tell you all about our upcoming holiday donation nominations. So this is where you will actually have the opportunity to go into the platform and try it for yourself. So for the past few years, we have been doing this. We have been honored to involve our clients in our annual holiday donation event. And this is where we support various charities based on the numbers of votes that we receive from you all. So in previous years, our clients' votes have helped us contribute to impactful causes, such as organizations fighting hunger, supporting children of incarcerated parents, or aiding military families. But this year, we're actually taking it one step farther. So we want to invite you guys to nominate a charity that you believe we should support. So we're looking for nominations that align with causes that you care about, whether that may be a local community initiative or a larger national organization. Either way, we want to hear about it. So how do you nominate a charity for donations? To nominate a charity, you will register at the website with the link provided here, and we will send that out to you all after the webinar as well. And then just a couple pieces of information. We'll need the name of the charity, the causes that they support, and then just a brief statement on why you think they would be a good fit for us. The nomination site will open on Monday, and you'll have about 2 weeks to submit your nominations. And once we get those nominations, we will review them. And then later this year, there will be a voting round where you can actually vote on which charity to make the donations to. So just like in past years, we will make the monetary donation based on the number of votes that each charity receives. So the more votes, the larger the donation.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hannah. And now we'll shift gears into the Q&A section. I saw a couple of them come in through the chat, which we'll address. And prior to do that, I do want to push out just a couple of polls. We'll turn the tables just a little bit. So we do have some questions for you that we'll push live and then share the results with. And I'll do that here now. And then on the screen are a handful of questions that we got prior to the event. I'll answer those as well, but I want to start with the questions that came in through the chat just to be mindful of everybody's time here. So the first one I saw here was, how is data retention timeframes determined? Are they client driven? Yes, we can work with you if you have specific timeframes. In the data collection world, we don't want to hold on to things forever. But however, if you have a requirement that things need to be there for 36 months, 24 months, etc., just let us know and we'll work with you on making sure that that's in the platform for as long as needed. On the flip side, we work with some orgs where it's like once the voting period ends or once nominations ends, that needs to be purged. We can work with you on that as well. Another question that came in was, can multiple users within the utility access and use the platform for multiple purposes? So such as the election, scholarship funds, etc. The answer is yes. So you can have multiple administrators from your organization oversee the process. And then the way it works for us is we would build out those applications for you and grant access to each of those people as need be. There's one question here. This one is near and dear to my heart. It says, can multiple questions be added on one page to reduce the next clicks? That is one that we are working on. It's on our development roadmap. As the question might allude to, if you're asking for, please include job history, for example, and maybe you want to, or industries that you've worked in, things like that. Right now, there's a couple of ways that we can build those out. Either it's like radio buttons where they're selecting that, or it's more of like a text box where you're listing 1, 2, 3 to answer those questions. But adding them all into one spot in the same question is something that is certainly on our radar. Then lastly here, who is the sender of the bulk emails, SBS or the organization? We are. SBS would. So like Hannah mentioned, if you're utilizing a process where you have like some set communications that you want those to go out to different applicants, simply just send those to us. We'll build them and send them out on your behalf. Now, if you choose not to do that, we can certainly work with you on maybe messaging or things like that. But if you would prefer to own the communications, you certainly could as well. That being said, some of the questions that came in ahead of time was how customizable is it? Hopefully we showed that here today, that it's got some flexibility in the different variety of applications that you can have, and the question types. How much does it cost? For most organizations, if you're utilizing it once a year for director candidates, in full transparency, it's a few $1,000s for that process annually. Others may have a much more complex process where it's a bit more expensive than that just because of those unique requirements. So what I'd recommend, if you're interested in what this might cost or what this would look like for your unique situation, just let us know either in the chat, or if you currently work with us, follow up with us, or your account manager. They'd be happy to walk through the process and what that might look like in terms of layout, look, feel, and then also from a cost perspective. Rounding third on the questions we got prior to, what kind of support do you offer? Prior to, so I'll put these in two buckets. Prior to the nomination, we would support you in the build of the process. So send us the questions, we build it, send it to you to review and test. And then on the flip side, once candidates are applying, if they had technical issues or questions that need to be asked of SPS, they can contact our support team, just like they would during an election. And our team would be more than happy to help make sure that they're able to get in and submit their application. And then lastly, how long does it take to set up? Generally, it's a couple of weeks. So if your nomination process opens on October 1st, now would not be a good time for us all to get started on that. Most of the organizations that we work with, we plan in chunks of weeks. So we'd have the project plan in place, we'd have a formal kickoff, have a few weeks for us to develop and test, and then push it live. So that's a pretty common timeline for most organizations that utilize this process. Again, if it's a bit more complex, we may ask you for a little bit more lead time. So all that being said, I know we are running just a bit up against the clock here. If there are any other questions, feel free to submit them now. Otherwise, if it comes to you afterward, feel free to drop us an email. And Hannah, with that, I'll turn things back to you.
Yes, thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. And just so, and one more time, just to reiterate, we will be sending out the recording after this webinar. And thank you all, and have a really great day.